Ghost of John, a long white bones of the rest all. It's warming, Eve is here once again. Do do do. Welcome, Desk. Welcome, Chris. I don't know what that is. I'll be. Um, hmm. I've never heard of skin. I don't even know how I would pronounce that. Is that a YouTube URL? I have no idea. All right. All right. If anyone hasn't seen, there is a vote going on right now. Bat ponies or Discord? Which do you want tonight? We're doing one or the other, and we're probably not going to do either, knowing myself and how good you all are at your job. Welcome, Pensive. Welcome to the stream. And welcome, V. Welcome, welcome. Glad y'all can make it. I'll give the poll another half hour or so to for anyone who hasn't gotten votes in to get their votes in. So it is a video ID. Knew it. And welcome, Iconic. Welcome to the stream. Alright, I need to post this someplace else. Where'd it go? Hold on. I'm missing something. There we go. Gonna go there. And should I post it somewhere else? Where is that? Gosh, why am I all the way up in this chat? I've never been in here. Didn't even know I was streaming until 12 minutes ago. Fair. I meant to drop in the link a lot earlier today, but then I completely forgot. I know what Drake's voting for. I think we all know what's going to be happening tonight. I'm just going to give maybe, I don't know, last minute push for something or other, but something's going to happen. Peacemaker. I have watched a little bit of Peacemaker. Wait, yeah, I have watched a little bit of Peacemaker. I've promised myself that I'll only watch that while at work because it's a nice long string of things that will get me interested in my mind off the road. Unfortunately, I haven't worked in a little bit just due to craziness. You're going to watch Gurren Lagann? I don't think I will. Maybe that'll be a New Year's stream. I just watch Gurren Lagann. Yes, blame it on. If anything happens, blame it on Desk, as per the rules. Hold on. Why am I so bad at typing and talking? Alrighty then. But yeah, I haven't watched Gurren Lagann just yet. Also, Iconic. I assume when you say Peacemaker, I assume you mean Peacemakers of Equestria, because that's a D&D thing I've just recently been watching, and I have no idea what what you might be referring to. Okay, let's see the poll so far. All right, 4 votes. Oh, I should probably post the poll in the chat, shouldn't I? This is my first time doing a poll. I'm so excited. All right, and boom. Okay, posting a straw poll. We're either going to be redoing a cold brew tonight, get some bat pones up in here, or oh, it's a superhero show. Okay, I haven't watched that actually. Um, we're either going to be redoing cold brew and the meeting of pristine grinds, or we're going to be doing Discord chapter. Right now, it's in favor of redoing the the bat pones, but who knows? It's a 3-1 vote right now, and I have no idea who the singular vote is. Is this V? Is V the single vote for Discord? I'm howling at the moon. Also, I did check my sound this time, so I know I'm not speaking into the void. Thank goodness. I can't believe that happened last week. Let's see if anything else goes right this stream. Ah, yes. Was it Idle on top or Mothy? Idle was on top, surprisingly enough. Though would that just make Mothy a power bottom because Idle would do as he's told? Yeah, don't do empty votes. Come on. Gotta choose. Because you can't be indecisive. Because that's my job. That's my thing. I need you to be decisive so I don't have to be. Because I know that most of you have already listened through me struggling through this chapter already, so that's why I'm giving you the choice. You can struggle through the chapter again, or just, or Discord, or whatever. It's going to be great either way. It takes place after the Suicide Squad movie. I haven't seen the Suicide Squad movie, at least not the new one. The old one I liked. It was a good movie. Not a great movie, but it was a good popcorn flick. But the new one I haven't seen yet. I actually haven't seen any superhero related stuff. Actually, no, that's a lie. I haven't seen any. No, that's also DC. All right. So I just recently watched Aquaman. Great movie. Loved it. Accidentally watched it all through clips on YouTube by complete accident. It just kept on getting recommended. And then I'm like, fine. Then I stole my brother's HBO account and watched it there. I was voting for the system to fall apart. Fair enough. I can't tell if Idle doing as he's told is him being indecisive about anything. I can't tell if Idle doing as he's told is him being indecisive about anything. He wants to do or him not being in. Hold on. Sorry, I'm trying contacts for. I'm trying new contacts and so some stuff is a little blurry. Right, I can't tell if Idle is doing as he's told, him being indecisive about anything he wants to do, or him not being indecisive, doing as he's told. Okay. Pensive cast confusion. It's very effective. Although a lot of I have low. What is that stat? That I have low willpower stat. So, is it willpower? I have no idea. I have no idea. The thing that makes you resistant to psychic attacks. That it. I have a negative stat on that because anything and everything will Constitution. Isn't Constitution more like a physical thing? I could have sworn Constitution was more physical. Is it wisdom? I think it's either wisdom or intelligence check. I can't be too sure though. Because I know Constitution just is mainly for physical damage. But that's all I know about. And that's mainly from Fallout. I'll be real. Also, actually, Uh, I so I know I brought up Fallout, so I'm going to rant on Fallout a little bit, more specifically Fallout 4. Now, I've never I took a feat to sub in willpower saves for Constitution saves. Nice. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going, 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 going. Still has account again and watch the show. It's amazing. I might. It's just a weird thing where I can't really watch. I don't really like watching movies or shows anymore because they're too long for me most of the time unless I get really into it. Like I got into like the when Castlevania first came out, the first two seasons, I binged that show, and it was great, and I loved it. But I haven't gone back to rewatch the other seasons yet because I'm binged out on it. Because the seasons appeared after I finished watching it. So even though I really enjoyed the show, I still haven't gone back, even though it's been years since I've watched it. And the same thing for a lot of shows and movies. Marvel, I think I just might be superheroed out, in all honesty. Like, after Endgame, I just kind of haven't gotten back into the swing of things, except for Loki. Because, you, like, you can't knock Loki. He's just a great character. Oh, I know, like, about who Peacemaker is. Like, I know general things. I'm not completely blind to the superhero genre, but it's just not something I seek out. He kind of looks like Ocean Master, I'll be real. So, simpler terms, does Idol doing exactly as he's ordered him being indecisive because he's not sure what he personally wants to do? Or is it him not being indecisive because he knows what he wants? Oh, okay. I get it. Um, so I'd say that Idol is only indecisive on things that he doesn't know the answer to. So, uh, but this can kind of get around it because Topaz can just tell him it's like tradition or it's a pony thing, like him having a birthday, and he just subjects to it because in those early days she knew more about pony madness than he does, and she also knows a lot about, and he still doesn't know a lot about pony madness, so he just kind of goes along with it. Endgame satisfied pretty much everything I wanted from the MCU and content, and I'm content to leave it there. Yeah, same. I haven't actually seen any of the new Spider-Man movies either. I heard they're good. I tried to watch Homecoming, and I got so bored that about halfway through the movie I turned it off, which isn't a great thing about Spider-Man, but it could just be burnout and the new movie not living up and the new series not living up to the hype that I heard about Spider-Man. But hey, I'll go back and rewatch Into the Spider-Verse all the time. It's great. He's also indecisive on things where it might benefit him more. He's also indecisive of things where it might benefit him more than he feels like it should. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm kind of confused about it, but when am I not confused on things? So I'll just leave it. I'll leave that there. I'm sure Tom Hiddleston, but yeah, I'm sure Tom Hiddleston did a great Spider-Man. It's just I love Spider-Man, not Peter Parker. I guess if that makes me a fake Spider-Man fan, then all right, that's fine. But I hate team drama with a burning passion. Psychic is probably wisdom based. I knew it. I it's either intelligence or wisdom. I guess I guess intelligence is more about being lied being told being lied to, right? Or that would also be what is intelligence good for other than just powering up spells? but in 5e, it's certainly most intelligent base saves. Okay, so it is intelligence. Okay, gotcha. Saves in old D&D are Constitution, Dexterity, and Wisdom. Okay, I get what you're talking about. Intelligence also makes you more skillful. True. I've actually been seeing a bunch of these shorts about this guy doing like a brief summary of all the classes in D&D, and anytime the or like something to that line of thinking, and anytime the wizard shows up, it's like the wizard always dies immediately, and it's great. I am wise enough not to fall for those corrupt lies of my mind. Corruptive, yeah, true, fair enough. Sorcerer's bards get buffed from casting from use fireball, just fireball. Yes, I ask how big the room is? I cast fireball. Dies from 1d4 intimidation damage. I'm smart enough to know those words in my mind are lies, but not wise enough to resist. Fair, so it would be intelligence. Or it's like when your party's running away from a boss, and it's like wizard dies of 1d4 stamina damage. It just it's oh the wizard just always dies, and it's just I've never played D&D. I've only seen very few things about D&D, but if that's actually the case, then that is just hilarious. My first D&D character was an onomancer, a naming wizard. If he knew your name, he could target you behind even full cover. Ooh, nice. So is that kind of like Name of the Wind thing? Anti-wizard bias. That might be the case. Uh, Name of the Wind. It's a book that I haven't finished reading yet. I'm about 4 hours. I have about 4, maybe 6 hours left in the book, and I just haven't read it because I'm like, I'm feeling so bad for the main character right now, and I can't say anything about why I feel bad for him right now because it's near the end of the book and there's huge spoilers for it. But I'm just like, no, why are you doing that? And I haven't gone back since like December. Maybe next December I'll finish that series. But until then, Expanse came out with a new book, and I'm super excited. Great, but if he just put on the the damn third one. I'm still raging about Brandon Sanderson pulling out 5 bonus books he wrote during the pandemic. Oh my gosh, the Brandon Sanderson memes are so hilarious. It's like I was bored, so I wrote 2 books. But wait a minute, you get 3 for free. It's just oh man, that guy is something else entirely. It's never going to happen. But I imagine Idol having his own show. I could see that. He's an android. Well, I mean, there's definitely 3 non-human beings on the planet that we know of right now, and that's Musk, uh, the guy in charge, Mark Zuckerberg, and I guess now Brandon Sanderson. Because Sanderson also revamped magic in general in books, because he's like, because he wasn't like the story that he was laughed at like an author's convention because he stated that magic should have rules, and now he's like the most prolific magic author ever. Forgot Tommy Wiseau. That's true. I did forget about Tommy Wiseau. that is absolutely that's absolutely the case with Wiseau. Like no one even knows that that's his real name. He he claims it's his real name, but no, but as far as anyone can tell, It's not his real name, and no one knows what his real name is. I won't lie, without Sanderson, I wouldn't have been so fascinated with changelings. Interesting. Like, was it, like, the magic system behind the changelings that got you interested in it, or was it one of Sanderson's creations that got you interested in the changelings? Because for me, changelings are just fascinating just because they don't have that much lore about them unless you read the comics, which I don't. So we're going to throw that big old lampshade on everything. They just ate love, yeah. There was no magic system behind the changeling early on. They just ate love. That's true. That is. That is very true. So he was forced to divulge it. Uh, Mystery now is where all his money came from. True. Changelings, self-made lore. Yeah, there's so much going on with the changelings that I wish that they kind of went on more in the show. Just because I'm like, give me history to these cool bug things, and then they're like, we don't care about the changelings' history, so we're just going to throw them into a paint factory, and then and they'll come out all good and shiny. That they are emotionally aware of other ponies, but they view things differently. Yeah, the emotion. What is it? The emotion sensing is, I feel like, a really common way for with changelings, because it would make sense that they would be able to see emotion since they feast on it so often. Ooh, you have a question for me, Desk? Go ahead. I'm all ears. That I forgot the term for a quick second there. How much energy does a changeling get when they practice self love? Filthy, filthy self love. Oh my gosh. I still choose not to use the new changelings. It's that bad. Is that bad? Yep, that's true. They get thirsty. Oh my gosh. What has this chat devolved into? Okay. Anyway, but like, there's so much mystery around the changelings. You just can't. You just can't stop it. Uh. Oh, never mind. That was something not related to me. But yeah, I just love, like, however, I get what they were going with the love bugs creation, or the changeling look, which makes me excited if they actually do bring back the changelings in G5, how they'll look in with that realistic 3D lighting, because that would look amazing. It could actually accomplish what they wanted to go to with the iridescent look. But for now, classic changelings are still my favorite changeling, which makes me kind of hope that Idol never gets turned into a changeling, or if he does, he just looks like a changeling, but all his holes filled in, or something like that. I wonder. So, V, early on, and I have a question for you that I never thought to ask before now. Early in the story, Idol gets trapped in his changeling form after being Sandy for a few days or a few weeks, and uh, he's and he's basically trapped in his form all night until he eventually changes back in. Could that happen the other way? Could Idol get stuck in the form of his pony self and not be able to revert back to changelings? Like if it was like a full, I know like it's different with between like a uh, the three different levels. Like top tier full transformation, could he get stuck as a pony, or is that something That's something completely different. Desk. I'm gonna go with Chris's answer of they get real thirsty. Idol wears a pony flesh mech suit. So yeah, like the way that V has described changeling transformations in the story makes me very curious because it's either like a very basic shell, which just makes you look like one without actually turning you into one, or full transformation, which is really cost intensive but it is the most complete transformation that changeling can do, except for I guess like a few very key details. But that makes like mainly probably the Thagigli gland or something like that. Illusion, meat suit, and full transformation. Yeah. So would Idol going full transformation? Could there be a series of events that would get him caught as in full transformation? Yeah, he's got abundance of power right now. I wonder, like now that after the was it after the invasion, he might since he doesn't have the abundance of power from Cadence and Shining, would he might stick with more illusion based magic just because he can't waste the energy on a full transformation? Anything that makes him bleed heavily? So there's a lot of ways that G5 Equestria lost their magic. I'm gonna I'm gonna go with Sawtooth's answer because it was the most complete theory I've seen on it so far. Where they got rid of magic, get rid of window goes. Ooh, that is very interesting. That is super interesting. So for those who haven't seen, changeling materials are very similar but not exact duplicates. Yeah, like didn't you say that at one point that like Idol would never be able to really enjoy a massage because he would have to replicate all pony nerves and how their muscles form, and that's just way too much work for the little benefit that it would give him. So his full transformation is just a good enough. It will fool pretty much everything. So if Idol bleeds a lot as his magic runs out, it's going to be clear that the blood isn't a pony. Interesting. Bacteria which live in oil deep in the ground use magic locking up magic. When they instead start to eat oil, they lock up the oil, but magic is free. I don't think I've heard of the Shadowrun theory before. Interesting. Uh, Flips back and forth. Very interesting. So, the way that Sawtooth's theory goes, it goes into EQG, which I'm not so versed on, but uh, there is a crack in between the worlds that was never healed in the third movie, I think, the one with Twy in it. There's a third crack that never got healed that began to leak more and more magic out of Equestria until the universes were at an equilibrium. But ponies just used so much magic that it was basically their society collapsing altogether. And it reached a point where they were not able to use magic because they basically were very inefficient at using magic. I've never read The Golden Compass. I heard it's a good series. Terrible movie, but I heard it's a good series. I haven't read it yet. Oh, so iconic. You go for uh, the xenomorph kind of deal. Well, maybe not acid, but slightly more acidic than pony. Yeah, I always just like the theory that changelings are just magic goo contained in their exoskeleton. That's how they can just freely transform into whatever they want because they're just full of magic goo. And it's similar to the goo that's in their cocoons as well. Similar, not exactly the same, but very similar. And they just and their magic goo just flows into any shape that they fill any form that they take. But the larger the form, the more thinned out the goo is, and they might not be as powerful in that form. Go full alkaline, therefore changeling blood is highly desired to make soap. Well, it seems changeling slime goes seems to go a fairly long way for coat and mane treatments, according to Topaz. How do ponies have soaps and shampoos? Well, I mean, you don't have to use animal fat, so they could just go a way that doesn't use that. um, we make our dead into soap and glue. I've seen a story that goes into that. Also, they use the dead to get turned into like uh, animal pet food as well. That's how ponies can keep animals like cats and whatnots around. Idle's heart just stopped beating. But yeah, glue and soap, the way that humans make it, doesn't make any sense in the show to begin with. But you could make naturally derived products, I assume. You just get a ration of just less than 5 bars of soap per life. Man, then what did Rarity do to? Is she just taking everyone's soap chips so she can just? But anyway, enough about soap for right now. What was I talking about way long ago? I forgot. Ooh, half hour's gone by. Let's see what the poll is. Refresh. Oh, it's super close. It's super close. But uh, deadline has come and gone, and by one vote, Batpones win. Pay with your blood or soap. I could imagine, like, uh, something also interesting is that I think in Rome, I could be completely wrong, but I think I heard in ancient Rome, salt was as good a payment as gold was. I wonder how the salt trade uh, went. I know who that one vote is. Need fat to make soap, but there's plenty of fatty plants. Absolutely. Anyone who voted for Discord is doing it wrong conceptually. Coconut oil works. Yeah, and we know that they have coconuts because we've seen them drink coconutty drinks. Avocados as well. Yeah, those are super fatty. Also, I heard they're trying to make bioplastics out of avocado stones, uh, which is super interesting, and I'm all for because, uh, I mean, it's better than just throwing it out, right? That's why I voted for watching Gurren Lagann. Yeah. Uh, Interesting how you vote for Gurren Lagann, considering that there's no Gurren Lagann one. But oh well. But anyway, thanks for everyone who voted on the poll. I mean, technically, I could just tie it up all together by throwing in my own vote because I haven't voted yet. But you know what? I'm not going to. Nah, I don't think I will. Welcome, Z. Welcome to the stream. I follow my own rules. Yeah, Fair enough, and that's why you're blamed for everything. That's why you're blamed for everything, Desk. Now that the votes are in, let's just change this. I knew it was going to be pretty 50-50, I felt like, for Bat Ponies versus Discord. Because, on one hand, everyone loves Bat Ponies, and we can always love more of them. But also, Discord's a fan favorite. And the way he deals with Idol is hilarious. But oh well, we'll see. Since everyone voted for what they wanted, we're going to redo the Bat Pony chapters and then into Discord. Which, if everything goes to plan, which I know it won't, but if things go to plan, that means the beginning of April will be when we get to the Discord chapter. I'll accept being blamed for everything if you watch Gurren Lagann. Hey, you gotta talk to V about the rules in his own server. I don't make the rules, I just enforce. What's your zodiac sign? Oh, I'm Fluttershy. Nice. Alright, so what do I need to do now? Boop. There we go. Now everyone can see what I'm doing and what's happening. Oh, right. I was going to talk a long time ago. I was going to rant about Fallout 4. One of my biggest issues about Fallout 4's story specifically, is one, everything is still a piece of crap after 200 years after the bombs fell, which I get it. Things are still slightly irradiated. But I would think that people wouldn't just still be in ramshackle huts made with pre-war material at this point. Like, you'd think there'd be a few nice places out in the wasteland. Maybe, like, especially in, New Vegas, where they didn't even get hit with anything. And yet they're still as run down as every other place in the wasteland. Other thing, can I watch BattleTech again? It's still not so close enough, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I haven't watched BattleTechs either, so I'm going to go ahead on both of them. And second, in Fallout 4 specifically, the Institute. So this is going to be a spoiler for the game. If anyone hasn't played Fallout 4, wants to cover their ears, do so now for maybe like the next few minutes. The Institute. Okay, everyone has that's gone wants to go. All right, fine. The Institute is the Institute ending bugs the crap out of me, because everyone's against the Institute. I get that. They're the main antagonists throughout the entire game. But in order to basically get the Institute ending, you have to wipe out every other faction, which for me makes no sense. It makes no sense. Because when you're the leader, when your father dies and leaves you to lead the Institute, you can make them do whatever you want. Which means you don't have to be an asshole for the rest of the wasteland and could actually help and share technology. Imagine what the wasteland could get through if if they had the Institute's technology and they weren't bent on trying to destroy them. Like, seriously, the only issue you might have is with the Brotherhood of Steel, because they're the Brotherhood of Steel. Like, so Fallout 4, I enjoy the story up until a point, but it was actually pointed out by the person I watched their Let's Play through of the entire game, Stephen George. Welcome, Demo. Welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. He got every ending. He got the neutral ending, which he stayed friends with every faction, but then he still ended up having to destroy the Institute in the end. But Brotherhood of Steel survived, the Minutemen survived, and the Railroad survived. By skipping doing certain quests and whatnot, he managed to make it so all three factions lived throughout the ending. But then that breaks the game. And it's like, why would you? Like, I know there's like infinite possibilities, but why does it have to be one faction against everyone else in the Wasteland? The only faction that like doesn't get up to this is the Minutemen because they can kind of connect with the Railroad, but every other faction is just like, I don't care who lives as long as it's me. You're all going to die. I don't have to be an asshole. I get to be one. The best faction is the Nuka World Raider for one reason. Oh, what reason is that? I mean, if your kid is stolen, you think there'd be at least some sense of urgency. Exactly. Exactly. It's the same reason I have an issue with uh, Cyberpunk story, in the same way. But yeah, there there's no, just because it's an open world game, there's no urgency to finding your kid. So you just find him when you find him. And then you also get dragged into every other faction's mess at the same time. If recent human history has taught us anything, it's that you don't have to be an asshole. It's a lesson lost on depressing percentage of the population. That's true. The reason is 7.62. I don't know what 7.62 is. I have not heard The Monster by Reckless Love. I've heard the Monster album by Lady Gaga because that's my sister's favorite album, but I have not heard that song yet. But yeah, like the urgency with finding your kid, I can kind of forgive just because it's a open world game versus a more structured game like BioShock. That I can kind of forgive. At the same time, I feel like there should be more than just four different endings, four different that are basically just the same thing of four different space lasers at the end of Mass Effect. It you could, because you can become owner of all these factions. So why can't you just be like, well, since why can't you get like the secret ending of, well, I'm master of all these factions, so I get to tell everyone I'm king of the wasteland. I all these factions belong to me, and they build up even bigger and badder, kind of like House did in New Vegas, where they just kept all the factions, uh, where he kept basically all the factions under his thumb the entire time. At least I think that's how New Vegas went. I've never played it or seen it, but I've read Fallout New Vegas, and I assume it follows a similar storyline. Or Fallout Equestria New Vegas, I should say. 7.62 ammunition. Is that really good ammunition? I haven't played the game, so I have no idea. Um, I'll listen. All right, I'll listen to after stream. Iconic, but um, but yeah, it's just that's just my main gripe with Fallout 4. Great game, all around, but that story, the ending has something to be desired from it. Because yeah, if you just fall in love with one faction, you want them to rule above all else. Fine. But why can't me be like a peacemaker and just take control of every faction because I absolutely can. That's fair, demo. That's fair. Um, it's the same thing with Cyberpunk. If you don't want to be spoiled about Cyberpunk, anyone who didn't want to be spoiled on Fallout, you can come back. You can come back now. But anyone who doesn't want to be spoiled on Cyberpunk, you have to you have to step out for just a second. Cyberpunk, a game I also haven't played, but I've seen enough people talking about it. Cyberpunk has the same urgency problem that Fallout does, where instead it's even worse because even though Cyberpunk seems to play like an open world game, they like the first things are just so first few missions are so scripted. It's more like a linear story. So I've heard of people that are like, "Oh, I'm going to die if I don't get uh, this dude out of my head. Crap, I'm gotta get Keanu Reeves out." And then they book it to the ending, and then they get the worst ending because they didn't do anything else in the world. That's like, yeah, if my character's going to die from it, of course I'm going to speed run the ending and then take care of all the other open world stuff. It shouldn't, like, they could have fixed it with very few simple things. And one is, you don't find out that you're infected with Keanu Reeves until the third act of the game, like way farther down the line. Maybe you could skip that. I have no idea. Again, I haven't played it. But it's like, as soon as you find out that you might die, that gives you all the reason in the world to speed run to the end as fast as possible. Yes, I am talking about welcome arc. Welcome to my rant about bad endings to stories. Nox would be a great character in Fallout. He would be so corrupted because we've already seen how the Everfree Forest is in Fallout Equestria. If that's how bad the plants are messed up, just imagine how bad the forest spirit is messed up. it would be a nightmare all around. Yeah, but anyway, they just only had to do two simple things, and then they could have fixed that story issue. Because you could be like, oh yeah, I get to play with Keanu Reeves. Instead, it's like, I get to play with Keanu Reeves while knowing he's slowly killing me. Red Dead Redemption, it does have a good ending. I also hate it a lot just because of I like John. I don't want John to die. I don't want Arthur to die either. Having played 27/7, you actually find out how it's going on. You actually find out about how it's going to go with Johnny Silverhand at the end of Act 2. Or Act 1. Yeah, exactly. Johnny Silverhand, it's like you could, like the glitches in your system or whatever, they should happen later in the game as he's like taking more and more control, because it's not like as soon as a computer gets infected with a virus, it immediately dies. I mean, there are there are some viruses that do that, but for a virus that's meant to slowly replace the entire personality with Keanu Reeves, you want you would want that virus to like act slowly and not just immediately pop up. I mean, sure, you could actually have hallucinations about Johnny Silverhand and talk to him and whatnot and be like, this is kind of weird. I don't know what's causing this. And people might see, the prophesied or some shit like that. But then you find out, oh, it's because he's slowly killing me. All right, gotta take care of this shit. And then by that point, when you're find out, you already formed a bond with Keanu Reeves. So you're like, I don't want to get rid of Keanu, but also I kind of also need to get rid of Keanu, or else I might die. So that becomes a moral conundrum. It's instead of just like a, well, I guess I'll take care of that when I have time. Like, I don't need to live today. I'll just take care of that later. Like, what? It kind of plays into the idea that in Night City you either become a legend or fade away. That and he can swim. Yes, that's true. Arthur can't swim. That's hit differently after play. Yes, absolutely. I only played through like half of. I played through the major. I'll actually re-say that. I played through the majority of Red Dead 1. Except I kept getting lost on the way to the last mission, which is you going home. And so I never actually finished the game. I did everything else in that game, except kept getting lost on the way home because at that point in the game, I still hadn't owned a horse. And I tried to like steal horses, and I got onto a train car and went the wrong way and back into Mexico. And I'm like, well, I'll figure this out tomorrow. And then I never went back into the game. And I later learned that yeah, that was absolutely the last mission of the game. That's the last thing you do as John, and I just missed it completely by accident. 9 millimeter kills the body, 45 kills the soul. I should not eat and type at the same time. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, some people can type and eat at one time. It depends on how good you are at pecking. I mean, so yeah, sure. Night City, you either become a legend or fade away. I feel like the more interesting part of version of that game would be your rise to the ranks at the top of the shadowy Night City. Uh, make your way to the top of Night City's crime world because you're basically a, a top player in the underbelly of Night City, uh, but they montage you through all of that, and I'm like, that would have been such a cool game to play. Maybe it'll be released in DLC. We have no idea. But at the time, it's like, why would you scroll through all that interesting stuff just to basically get to your heist of Keanu Reeves? It's like, I know he was like in a lot of the marketing for the game, and it kind of would have been shitty to like just shove him in there last minute, last act, and be like, yeah, Keanu Reeves is here. Yeah, this is why you bought the game. And it's like, I get that thinking, but at the same time, you're already best of the best, or best of the worst. I should. Is it best of the worst or worst of the worst for the CD underbelly? I guess Corpo is worst of the worst, but anyway, you're already top of your game, but you don't even start at the top of your game. Like if you played any other game, you're you are laid low and then immediately become top of the game through a montage. That. Honestly, Keanu Reeves helped make the game what it is. Yes, that is so true. uh, it anyway. It's just a huge pet peeve of mine because even though I haven't played a lot of video games, I've played a lot of good ones with great stories in it. Temple Trouble, top top favorite. Oh my gosh, that story! I might live stream it like one of these days because that is absolutely my favorite game. Lots of music in there too, which is also another plus. Are you going to sing something? It's a maybe possibly. I've I haven't been able to stop singing We Don't Talk About Bruno all week. So I actually have been singing about Bruno all week. And I feel like We Don't Talk About Bruno would make a great song for Idol right now because it would be anyone who really knows Idol finds out the truth and is like, we don't talk about Idol, no, no, no. We don't talk about Idol. And instead of it just everyone shit talking Idol, there could be some pony shit talking Idol, but it's mostly people being like, we can't talk about Idol because he's just a changeling. And there, it's the whole song's about them dancing around the fact that he's a changeling the entire time. And maybe yes, that is absolutely right, and I did not misspeak on that at all. Granted, it's ripe for a DLC. Yes, exactly. It's ripe for a DLC. But the thing is, will they actually ever do that DLC? They're too busy fixing the bugs in their game to produce DLC, so they might not even see a point to releasing DLC to do the 6 month jump. Also, take 6 months to rise to the top of a criminal underworld? What universe is that realistic? uh, let's see. Let's get rid of. Come on. Uh, Let's see. Hold on. I've been meaning to do something. How? Anyone that knows how to do this stuff, how do I stop bots? Because I know that there's a way you can. Come on, just give me regular studio. Let me in and see if I can put on a banned word list. Uh, Can I add a? Where's a ban word list? I know that there's a disallow list. Someone ping me once the reading starts. It will start any sec. I swear. People that find out. Welcome, staff. Welcome to the stream. That's true. It is just like a well that explains a lot. Because absolutely. Anyway, enough about ranting and me trying to figure out things I don't know how to do. Moment of silence. I'll have to do a moment of silence real quick because I haven't prepared anything yet. And now that I got background noise out of the way, let me close this door so we can start reading. Yes, I had my door open because it was 76 in here and I was dying. So now time for the clock to. Fun fact: the clock only starts because I'm about to die of heat stroke, not because not due to a lot of other factors. Funny enough. Alrighty then. Alrighty then, let's get into this, shall we? Pensive, someone ping pensive. Reading the first part of it. The next days were something of a blur. Shining Armor was able to work with the royal physician to create a shield that would provide some measure of protection from harmful. So also, I'm going to start a war right now, and so caramel or caramel. How do you actually say it? Because I say caramel. A lot of people say caramel. But also a lot of people say milk. Or milk. Or warm. So, it could be an accent thing. It could just be something else entirely. But how do you say it? What will I read once I'm done with changing of the guard? I think I might go back to Respite. Because I want to read Respite and Changeling of the Guard and do it like a duo series. So that way there's like a little something for everyone, but also still kind of Changeling. A little bit of Respite, a little bit of Changeling of the Guard, and then it absolutely did not work out whatsoever. Let's see, what's the temp outside right now? It's 53 right now, so it's just I'm in an apartment in the middle floor, and everyone else has their heaters on, so it all bleeds down into me, and it makes this whole apartment just sweltering. So we have to turn on the AC all the time, or else we'll just die. I remember we forgot to turn on the AC one night. Came back home, it was 83 in the apartment. We oh my gosh, it was just an oven from just heat from other people's apartments. Caramel, it drives caramel, and it drives idle insane. Oh man, that's hilarious. Isn't that the reason why there's two versions of caramel? Like it's caramel if it's a stallion, it's caramel if it's a mare, depending on what the show wants to do in that scene. Am I right in that, or is that something completely different that I've forgotten about? Whether it's rhetoric or non red caramel. Yes, yeah, caramel gang. Woo! No, that's not rhetoric. Rortic? Rotic. Is that how you say that? Rotic. I'm going to actually look this up because I have no idea what that is. Google, help me.
Rhotic.
It is Rotic. I've never heard of this before. Interesting. Most of the U.S. Apparently not in the West. Or at least not here. The next days were something of a blur. Shining Armor was able to work with the royal physician to create a shield that would provide some measure of protection from the harmful elements in the air, though the doctor insisted on some additional effort being put into it to ensure the air did not become stale. That, along with untreated air, could be harmful to the returned princess's recovery. First paragraph! Woo! Also, something I didn't know until I started watching a cooking channel. Apparently, and this might just be the cooking channel I'm watching, they say they call eggplants aubergines. And that might be a French thing, it might be just an England thing. I have no idea. I have no idea the dialect of that food name. And they call zucchinis courgettes. Which I can understand eggplants being aubergines, but it's like zucchini is also 1 hour, 1 minute. 1 hour, 1 minute of distraction. I like how you're keeping account of how many times I'm distracted. Desk. Well distracted indeed. Shining explained that the cost of creating this shield was immense, and I soon learned that the effort of creating an active shield that filtered air and prevented entry to some, but not all, had run the ragged edge of even his abilities. To my understanding, the first attempt had literally put him to the floor. Upkeeping it, on the other hoof, was considerably easier. An interesting quirk of Shining's skills with shield allowed him to... That is a tongue twister of a sentence. Upkeeping it on the other hoof was considerably easier. An interesting quirk of Shining's skills with shields allowed him to pass on this upkeep. Another pony with a modicum of understanding of his talent could perform said upkeep if they had the power to do so, even with the efficiency losses. That's not all I'm keeping track of. I assume not, because you also keep track of the word I tend not to struggle most with, but just seem very funny to struggle with. Oop, I'm in the wrong chat. No. I used to have a thing on Discord that would tell me the actual name of people if they nicknamed themselves in a server. We demanded he not be coy with us, and he defied us. He is also the master of up. So, hold on. I need to continue on a trend and reaction. Where's the up arrow? Perfection. There we go. Let's start the trend again. Let's roll with that trend. No, I'm in defiance of the true ascendance. You cannot be in defiance of true ascendance, Koi. Pensive you, that will not work on us. As I understood it, there were actually several shield... As I understood it, there were actually several shields in concert, and then multiple attempts to create them. One that stopped anything... That was going downhill real quick. I need to move this over. Oh gosh. I'm running... I got rid of my cup holder next to my... That was on my... Well, it's actually still there. It's just a little metal thing that came with the desk. But then I moved in a side table into my room so I could pile more stuff in here, which I don't need, but it's very helpful anyway. So it's kind of bypassed that cup holder. So now I'm just keeping my cup on my desk within easily knock over reachable distance right next to my computer that's doing everything that's replaced my desktop. So, yeah. I'm running great risk, is what I'm saying. No, I'm in defiance of the false ascendants. You are the true ascendants, Koi. Don't be coy with us of the true ascendants. Uh, as I understood it, there were actually Sybil. There were actually several shields in concert, and then multiple attempts to create them. That was a rough read. Understood it. There were actually several shields in concert, and then multiple attempts to create them. One that stopped anything living above a certain size to prevent unauthorized ponies from entry, one that provided air filtration but did nothing to stop ponies, and one that oscillated and only affected air to provide a pumping mechanism to ensure adequate flow. Shining somehow managed to tie all of these together into a single, enhanced shield. He even managed to create a small bubble effect around any pony who entered the defending shield, which could then be detached from the whole without being unlinked, though it would lose any benefit save air filtration. This had been mostly intended for Princess Celestia's own benefit, as this initial design had simply been a small bubble around the younger princess, whilst the final design had allowed Luna more with a visitor. Whew! I had trouble with several one-time desk once. The contents of your desk equals 110% of the space on your desk. That is absolutely the case. It's also the case that I probably need to clean off my desk. So here's the thing with me. 99% of the time, I'm not in my desk when I'm on a computer because it's a laptop. So I just take it into the living room or something like that and then just do work in my living room. So I'm really only at the desk for streaming and a few things beside that. So then I don't bother with the desk mess because I instantly forget about it. I am coy. I cannot be coy when I am coy. Therefore, every implementation made of coy, me being coy, is true, and cannot become what I am. No. Welcome, comma. Welcome, welcome. Well, we had a little poll earlier in the stream because I lost 2 chapters, both of them being the Bat Pony chapters. No idea why that happened. So it was a choice of either being about reshooting the Bat Ponies or Discord, and it was a close call. Separated by 1 vote, Bat Ponies won out. Also, I feel like there should be an in-lore reason why we had to reshoot the Bat Pony parts. Like Idol is just like a mini series. Changing of the Guard is actually a mini-series, and they just lost some footage. They're like, take that back to chapter 60, to chapter 48. We need to redo everything with the Grindhouse. Yes, everything to do with the Grindhouse. I think I need to reread this last one. Waltzed. God, that's a rough one. That is a rough one. While the final design had allowed... Yeah, it's the Idle Hooves Show, starring Idle Hooves. With Andy Griffith, also starring Don Knotts. As this initial design. Great show, by the way. Had allowed. As this initial design had simply been a. There we go. Let's get rid of the fender. Change the guard is secretly the office. Yes, absolutely, it's secretly the office. Although I hope it doesn't use the same jokes as The Office, because there are some good moments of The Office, but I don't. Most of the humor in The Office is not to my taste, but there are some golden ones. There are some golden ones there. But the taste of changing a guard is far better than The Office. So you lost both Bat Pony chapters and decided to skip ahead. So thing is I only found out that I lost both the Bat Pony chapters after I had almost finished recording chapter. What was the chapter before this one? While I was recording Gallivanting, and I was just looking through, and I'm like, oh, I lost everything. And I couldn't find it. It wasn't on any of my backups. Have no idea what happened to it. I know I recorded it, but it is just completely gone. And so I'm like, all right, I'll finish up this chapter because it's already been going on for 4 streams now. And I'm like, all right, I can't decide which one to do. If people want to sit through rewatching me struggle through a chapter that they've already listened to, so I'll let everyone else decide what I do tonight. Camera sync was off and frame rate was jumping all over the place. Worked fine on the set monitors, but was useless once it got to the editing bay. Absolutely. Mothy discarded the original footage because she wanted Idol on top again. Very true. And I just realized I'm several minutes behind on the stream. I know that feeling so hard. One of my friends streams all the time. He streams like Minecraft content. I'm like, yeah, I'll watch your streams. And then for some reason, even if I click live, several minutes and like I'll be watching for like over an hour, and then suddenly everything will freeze up, and then I'll be several minutes behind on stream. And it's just for some reason my connection craps out every hour or so, and I have no idea what causes it. And it might not even be on my end. It could just be YouTube in general. Idea. Might fix it one of these days. Might not, because I'll probably forget. Who knows? Alright, where was I? Princess Celestia's own benefit. As this initial design had simply been a small bubble around the younger princess, whilst the final design had allowed Luna more access to the contents of her room, with a visitor. With a visitor. With a visitor. Whilst the final design had allowed Luna more access to the contents of her room, with a visitor. With a visitor. And whilst the final design had allowed Luna more access to the contents of her room with a visitor. Whilst the final design had allowed Luna more access to the contents of her room with a visitor. The stream skipped right as you were saying it was YouTube's fault. Google heard me. Oh my gosh, Google heard me so hard. Oh, that is just hilarious. Also, why do people bother with TriCasters? Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Why do they bother with them? From what I heard, they're just dumber computers. I don't even know it's on my end. It could just be you. Cuts out General Mortalk. Now where was I? Cuts out Princess. That's what I'm hearing. Oh my gosh. Pensive, your connection is cursed. Welcome back, Chris. Apparently, Google is shutting me down because I decided to trash talk YouTube on their platform, and they're specifically trashing Pensiv's connections. This is just the best. Mothi is cutting the stream connection. We found out she destroyed the original footage. That is accurate. No, she heard we were going to be doing Mothy's no good, terrible, bad, absolutely no good, terrible, bad night. I can never remember what order those words go, and I figure that there's enough there for people to get the gist of it. Alrighty, I forgot where I was. There we go. I think it was that paragraph. That paragraph looks like a good paragraph. But it was jumpy, but even before I left. Nice. I can't stay alive. It works for a minute, then I'm behind again. Ah man, those bad connections are the worst. I hate it so much. All right, now what was this one? Oh yeah, 49. Doot. What was this chapter called again? Oh yeah, cold brew. Oh, oh, I forgot something. I can't believe I forgot something. The next, I forgot the chapter title. I would have been so angry with myself if I had forgotten the chapter title. Hold on. Hold the phone. I haven't recorded the chapter title yet. What is wrong with me? Okay. It's chapter 48. Got it. And boom. Chapter 48. Cold brew. Chapter 48. Cold brew. Chapter 48. Cold brew. There we go. I got the chapter thing in. I'm happy. Everyone can stop panicking now. Doodle-doo. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. They're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious and spooky, and all together ooky. The Hampton family. The house is a museum where people come to see him. Yeah, theme of me forgetting and losing stuff. Yeah. uh, hope your coffee's good. I'm not too much of a coffee drinker myself, but you enjoy that. I kind of wish I could because the caffeine might actually help me out, but I never grew up with coffee. Like my parents didn't drink it either, so I just and granted the first and only time I've tried coffee is uh actually there was two times I tried coffee. Both were probably the worst absolute ways I could try coffee. I don't know. All over my pants. Why? The first time was uh, my sister wanted to get me something from Starbucks because she was super into Starbucks. The second time was late night closing shift, and I got coffee from Maverick, which or I got gas station coffee, which I heard is the absolute worst coffee that you could possibly get. I might try McDonald's coffee eventually because I heard that McDonald's coffee is actually one of the better ways to get coffee, which is kind of weird. It's only for saying this up this late, to be honest. Otherwise, I'd be going to bed in about 24 minutes. I get that pain. I get that pain so much. It's mostly like for me, the pain is what were, I should say was, is because when I worked at Domino's, it was like, well, everyone's just waking, it's 7 a.m., everyone's just waking up. Time for me to go to sleep. And that's how it was for 4 years. Ah, that was a long time. But now, it's only one. Chris, you can't retract your method. It's far too late. I've already done it. Wait, I can create a poll in chat? When did this happen? It was way too oversweeping for me. Granted, I'm probably not going to get coffee. But if I do try coffee again, it'll either be home brewed or from McDonald's. Is probably the most likely time I drink coffee next, if I ever do. Because I've also heard that tea is much better for you, much better caffeinated drink for you. If you want caffeine in the morning, I might not go with anything and just stick with water and soda. Who knows? Not even me, because I'm still deciding. And where was I? Oh yeah, this one. I, having spent so much time with Shining, have attempted to file away his occasional ramblings as he tested a new shield for further consideration, was able to. I need to be farther in than this. I, having spent so much time with. I. My. I, having spent so much time with Shining and have attempted. And having attempted. I, having spent so much time with Shining and having attempted to file away his occasional ramblings as he tested the new shield for further consideration, was able to understand and adjust his shields to some small degree, though I could not hope to recreate them. There is a vast difference between maintenance or repair and construction, after all. Whilst I could follow along better than most, any shield I could manage on my own was best suited for an impressive physical and far lesser magical defense. Shining, on the other hoof, could manage shields that would make the inhabitants feel warmer or protect them from intense heat, moisture, or even, as tests with Wispy had proven, a lightning strike. Also, do lightning strikes actually affect ponies? Because ponies are very durable, and I feel like lightning wouldn't affect them as much as other species. Because I mean, we see Rainbow like crash head first into a rock, full speed, and all she gets is like a broken wing, and that's it. And the only time we've seen lightning strike another pony is Derpy getting struck by her own lightning, and she gets slightly singed. Maybe slightly more than slightly singed, but she just barely gets singed. So would lightning actually have an effect on ponies? This is a question for all y'all. In the case of lightning versus ponies. McCafe is meant to be pretty good. It's harded out down here, and us Aussies are somewhat picky about a coffee. It's why Starbucks really hasn't taken off down here. Very true. Also, more caffeine per gram tea leaves versus coffee beans. More caffeine per cup of coffee versus cup of tea. Oh, okay. Interesting. Because the thing I've heard with like tea is that you drink several cups of tea, and you just get like a little caffeine buzz. You don't. It's not the kick in the mouth caffeine that coffee tends to have, from what I understand. Lightning strikes have been shown to affect ponies, but only do temporary damage. That's because RD's skull is denser than lead. True. Possibly Pegasi were resistant to others. Yep, I 100% agree with that. I feel like Pegasi tend to be fluffier than most ponies, just so that they can retain moisture, not moisture, so that they can retain heat at higher altitudes. Also, the cloud altitude of Equestria must be completely screwed. It must be completely screwed up in some way, shape, or form, because clouds are several thousand feet in the air for us, and yet rainbow can just, most clouds in the show are maybe 100 feet at most. Celestia's court case of 577 of rock versus paper versus scissors. Nice. You can make tea pretty strong, much stronger, and it's still drinkable. Coffee is about at its limit. Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, and the only reason I might be considering tea is because I watched this show called Modern Rogue, and they did 2 tea drinking episodes, and it was very fascinating, and it made me really want to get into it. Except for 2 things: I've never drank tea before in my life, at least not actual tea. I've only drank herbal tea, which is a strange thing to say because tea is herbal to begin with, but I guess the more correct term is non-caffeinated tea. And I'm not even sure if it's made with tea leaves, to be honest. So, uh, but yeah, I watched that show and I'm like, ooh, drinking tea looks really interesting. I want to try and get into it, but I don't know if there's actually any stores that sell good tea around here, and I also don't know what kind of flavors I like with tea, so I don't know which one to. So if I do pick up actual tea, then it's a case of you might not even like it just because of what you're trying. They had it real lucky because they actually had a tea house down there that they could visit, and that they showed off, and it was really fun. I I don't think there's any tea houses here, mainly because most caffeine beverages are like hated on in this state, and it's really stupid. Personally, I like the idea that Pegasi just have a bunch of natural atmosphere manipulation magic that subconsciously protects them, to which is also key to their flight. That is also true. Cloud level depends a lot on local terrain and local height above sea level. Yeah, that's fair. But also, to be fair, I live probably in not not the highest point in the U.S., but close to there, and our clouds are still pretty high up, and we're pretty far from sea level. Uh, Not Colorado high, but fairly high ourselves, and our clouds are still a few thousand feet above us. Drinking tea, but not made from the tea plant. Yum. Yeah, it's this blend called Throat Coat. It's specifically sold at Walmart, I believe, or it's the brand that I get from Walmart, I should say. And I just drink that after stream because, as much as I love chatting with you guys, it totally makes my it totally makes my throat sore talking this much, because outside of these streams, I'm not really that talkative at all. This is like, I think I said last week's stream of, this is my talking quota for like the month, chatting with all y'all, and I don't regret it at all. All right, have a good night, demo. Chat with you later. But yeah, I have no. But yeah, clouds are weird. Pegasi, I I feel like they could have gone more into pony biology in the show, and not in that way. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm already throwing that out there, but uh, like, I I feel like the Pegasus, like every race, instead of just looking the exact same as each other, except some have wings, some have horns, there could be like bigger differences, like how uh, like Earth ponies could be uh, thicker, maybe look more like Big Mac uh, than other horses. Maybe they all have uh, fetlocks or something like that, for the thing of they're always they are more in tune with physical magic. Uh, the Pegasi maybe being smaller, more aerodynamic, and then just more like a bird in general. He beat me to it. I'm always one step ahead of you, desk. Always. While unicorns, I have no idea what you could change about unicorns, but maybe make their tails more like the classic unicorn style, like in The Last Unicorn, which is also a good book and or movie that haven't seen, but everyone tells me it's fantastic and I might watch it one time. Same, might watch it sometime. Same with Dark Crystal, but anyway, like the classic like lion tail unicorn thing, something like that. Maybe more magical than just horse with horn. That is unicorn. Like more like physical attributes, and I kind of hope that they go into it. They kind of went into it in the G5 movie with Pip and Zip being among the smaller members of the main five that they had going on. Unicorns get crossbows. I mean, unicorns could fire crossbows, yeah. We already locked V in the basement to write. Toss a microphone, chapter, script, and chat box, and your voice will be fine. Wait, hold on. And chat box. Fine. It'll be fine. Just fine. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you should have more differences. Crystal ponies? I can't. I keep on. I hate that crystal ponies weren't more prevalent. They are, and when they are just recolored, or I guess retextured regular ponies. Like they lean into the crystal aesthetic more. Maybe made of actual crystal. Who knows? I've seen explanations in like the Fallout Equestria universe that the Crystal Empire is basically Equestria's first mega spell, where it was the emotions of the crystal ponies focus into a large weather controlling spell. It was the first mega spell, and it had a certain magical radiation that slowly caused the residents there to become crystal, and that's why they all look like that, because through generations they the effects of the lingering effects of the spell turned them into crystal. And that was and it made you think that, oh, so Cadence and Shining Armor also became crystal eventually, because anytime that they power up the heart, it crystallizes everyone. And you think like you have a spell cast on you enough, it's going your form's going to remember more often that self than your past self. Like that is my thinking. Well, not my thinking, but that is a lore thing that I absolutely love, and I wish that was talked about more. Because everyone forgets about the Crystal Empire, to be honest. And especially the show, they forgot about the Crystal Empire so often. It's so annoying when they do. And I've just been on a rant about pony biology for a good little while. But yeah, I love when stories get into like the actual type differences, because if it was all just a thing of, oh yeah, they all look the exact same except for some have a pointy bit and some have flappy bits, and it's like, it's less of a reason. I'm not saying it's not a reason, but it's less of a reason for the tribes to hate each other. But if they looked completely different with their different strengths and attributes, I could see more of the heartwarming tale coming to pass. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, it's an interesting concept. And I haven't seen too many artists go into what ponies look like other than just show style. Show style, hyper realistic, and just cute and all together. But there have been some that have gone into the more physical aspects, especially Pegasi having more downy uh, features of their fur than the other tribes. I've also seen a thing saying that like their fur is more their coat is more akin to feathers than they are actual fur. I've seen that. I don't know how to feel about that, so I'm just going to say maybe thicker pony fur. Like it would totally make sense, and I'd totally be on board for it. Plus, chest floof. You think Kierans have chest floof? Now think again. I should note in the last. I should note in the last, the shield protected those inside from lightning, excepting the one holding the shield, who received a sizable redirected charge regardless of whether they were within the confines of the shield or not. Shining himself looked as though he had been stuffed in a dryer, and Cadence had been delighted in her staticky lover's fluffy appearance. Shining himself. Shining himself looked as though he had been stuffed in a dryer, and Cadence had been delighted in her staticky lover's fluffy appearance. As Shining's friend and confidant, I dubbed him Stuffed Armor, and dealt with the blowback as a friend should. Love that. My new duties were actually rather simple. I was to watch over the Princess Luna, the Princess Luna, sorry. My new duties were actually rather simple. I was to watch over the Princess Luna, guard her room from well-meaning, if foolish, intruders, and was, very specifically, to prevent Princess Celestia herself from countermanding those orders under any circumstances until her sister was better. Simple, I have found, does not always mean logical to ponies. Obviously, now I had a set of orders that I am not to obey, because it should never be ordered of me, but it might be all the same. This is a very rational and sane thing to expect of some pony. This is a very rational and sane thing to expect of some pony. Order, had life ever actually been simple? Oh, Order. Every time Idol calls out to Order, it's just hilarious. Order, had life ever been simple? In the meantime, my duty was mostly to maintain a shield of protection held by shining armor. No, Idol, life is never simple. The more you know, the less you feel like the more you know, the less you wish you knew. Alrighty then, 20 minutes left. Can I finish? How much longer is in this chapter? Ah, okay. It's gonna be a long while. This chapter is definitely going to take 2, maybe 3 streams. Who knows? Princess Luna had many titles: Dream Trotter, the Moonlit Mare, the Star Caller, and the Dark Watcher. None of these, I should note, imply that she is a gracious patient, and for good reason. Now I have to think of Luna. What was Luna's voice? No. Alright. Luna. Luna, where'd you go? And I you. There we go. There's Luna. Yeah, about that Luna. I need to know about Luna. Give me the truth and the whole truth, Luna. Isabella, your boyfriend's here. Time for dinner. Thy lunar voice is far too great for mortal minds to hold. 7 foot frame, rats along his back. I really want to do a cover of We Don't Talk About Bruno. It's such a fun song. It's like one of the best Disney villain songs that they've had in a long, long while. The poor unfortunate souls in pain, indeed. Alrighty then. Fie upon you and your potions, Physicer. We are tired. Our heart beats, our tongue is unspotted, and our coat is unlathered. Thou demandest we rest, then bother us with trifles? Away! Away! Fie you. There we go. Fie you and your potions, Physicer. We are tired. Our hearts beat, our tongue is unspotted, and our coat is unlathered. Thou demandest we rest, then bother us with trifles. Away! Away! The last sounded more plaintive than demanding, but the princess's strength had yet to recover from the very unpleasant bout of flu. She grumbled something unintelligible and covered herself with her blankets, radiating displeasure and discomfort. Oh no, it's McCoy again. Ah! How do I do McCoy? Oh no, it's this doctor. Oh, I remember this now. I had to, like, specifically get coaching. You said hearts again? Again! You enjoy this way too much, V. I think I should bring back the ding again, just to torture you back. Fie upon you and your potions, Physicer. We are tired. Our heart beats, our tongue is unspotted, and our coat is unlathered. Thou demandest we rest, and then bother us with trifles. Away! Away! The last sounded more plaintive than demanding, but the princess's strength had yet to recover from the very unpleasant bout of flu. She grumbled something unintelligible and covered herself with her blankets, radiating displeasure and discomfort. Luna is a Time Lord. Luna is always a Time Lord, let's be real. Fie you. There we go. Boop. Who knows? We don't know about alicorn biology, not that biology, and they could very well have two hearts. I mean, we've never seen an alicorn perish before, so they could very well be Time Lords. In fact, who's to say that every single princess who's ever came to be isn't just the same princess in multiple revisions of her timeline? No, not you, Leonard H. McCoy from Star Trek. Yes, I have to try. I had to get coaching on how to do McCoy, and last time, and I don't think I'll be any more successful this time. I'm a doctor. Well, I'm a doctor, not a. I'm a doctor, not an alicorn. You just said say it at like 3 times slow speed, and that's how you get the southern accent. Very well, Your Highness. Rootin' tootin' good time. Damn it, man! I'm a doctor. Actually, no, it's not a southern. He's Irish, isn't he? No, Scottish. Is he Irish or Scottish? Actually, I'm thinking of someone completely different. That's Scotty. I'm thinking about Scotty. No, I need to do the Southern McCoy. Oh no, this is already turning out to be great. Doctor. 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 I can't force others to do as I want while only saying it's the doctor's orders. McCoy? It's only a McCoy if you have a Mick job pensive. Just what the doctor ordered. I know how to do a Southern Belle. Well, howdy there. They don't say howdy, but. Very well, Your Highness. Should I just make McCoy a Southern Belle? The exact same sounding as Honey. As Honeydew. McCoy is Honeydew in this version of it. Damn it, Celestia, I'm a doctor, not an entomologist. Now, I still don't know how to do a southern drawl all too well, but I'll try my best. Very well, Your Highness, the doctor sighed, putting away the stethoscope. You forget the... Where's my ding? I need a ding! I need to bring back my ding! The ding-a-ling-a-ling. The ding-a-ling-a-ling. Whoa! Ding-a-ling. Oh, my dear. Oh, I want you to play with... Yeah, first time I heard that song, I was like 10. I had no idea the ramifications of that song until about 10 years later. And now thinking back on it, I'm like, man, yeah, I had no idea what that song was about. Very well, Your Highness. Your lungs sound fine. No hint of pneumonia, thanks, Celestia. He cleared his throat at the look his patient gave him, then hurried on. Take your medicine, and I'll leave more with the maids or your personal guard. I waited for the doctor to leave the protective barrier of the shield, and cautiously took his place. I waited for the doctor to leave the protective barrier of the shield and cautiously took his place, pushing a fresh card of breakfast or dinner. I could not entirely be sure which it was, for the typical nocturnal princess. Your Highness, I bring you soup and some fresh produce. Take your medicine. I'll leave more with the maids or your personal guard. I... Seed? Ding. Why, are you dinging me or are you dinging yourself? I don't know where this ding is going for. The mound of blankets shifted. Fie on soup, we are not hungry. Be that as it may, you must take your medicine. The doctor has made such clear. This is grape flavor. 'Tis not grape, unless the grapes of old have changed to some new cloying variety. Oh, then cherry. If cherry tastes so foul, 'twould be a blessing if they were scoured from Equestria. Fih! I now realize how hard it is for voice actors to do voices in other characters while still maintaining the same character. Anytime who was it that did Rainbow and Applejack's voices? Holy crap. Props to her for that one episode when Rainbow did all the impressions of the main six, including Applejack, which she also does, while still somehow maintaining that it's Rainbow the entire time. Props. Total props to that. Drink this is grape flavor. That's the best I can do. Drink this, it's grape-flavored. 'Tis not grape, unless the grapes of old have changed to some new cloying variety. Oh, then try cherry. If cherries taste so foul, 'twould be a blessing if they were scoured from Equestria. Feh. Feh. Your Highness... Your Highness is it. Your Highness is merely in a bad mood because medicine tastes of dishonesty and false fruit. The comforter came down at that. In our day, we would have dragon scale soup, and at least that was supposed to taste like copper and lizard. In our day, we would have dragon scale soup, and that was at least... In our day, we would have dragon scale soup. At least that was supposed to taste like copper and lizard. The cooks... The cooks have scolded young Spike enough. I doubt any would ever convince him to climb into a hot stew pot again. He used to rather enjoy swimming in and subsequently ruining supper. Perhaps I could convince him to donate a molt? I gave her a tight-lipped smile. At least it's not I gave her a tight-lipped smile. At least it isn't leeches. The princess's face contorted in disgust, and she shivered. We have always hated the leeches. Has that quackery been expunged? By almost every pony, Your Highness. Now, drink your soup. The doctor says it will help if you eat everything on your tray. Princesses do not pout, though she put up a convincing facade. Fie on the doctor. Thou wouldst not eat the swill? I would if I were ordered to. If I were ordered to do so, I certainly would. Then we do indeed order it. Contraction. Contraction. Where? Oh, yes. Contractions. Contractions everywhere. Wait, hold on. Did I actually say is not leeches? Your Highness. Now, drink your soup. The doctor says it would help. Has that... At least it isn't leeches. Isn't. Yeah. Thing is, though... So, Idle doing contractions. From now on, I won't ding for contractions on Idle's speak. Because he's lived in Equestria for over a decade, and although his speech is still fairly archaic, I would assume at this point he has somewhat absorbed the notion of contractions. Especially since he's trying to blend in more, he'd be like, I don't want to use them all the time, but it's the norm around here, so I'll do it. I'll do it ever. I'll allow it. I'll allow it to enter my speech. Also, since he's also been tutoring the nymph, since he's been tutoring Cersus, it would also kind of enter into more of his vocabulary as well. I calmly lifted the bowl to my lips, then drank the still-seeming hot broth in one extended pull. I then ate the banana slices, and noting the cloth napkin, tore it to shreds and ate the lot of them. Idle speak? Idle has created his own accent of a language? Absolutely. Absolutely. Idle is somewhat between archaic and modern. He's just kind of like teetering around in the middle. Sometimes he falls more into more modern speech. Sometimes he falls into more archaic speech. And then Luna subsequently falls into that same speaking pattern. Soup. Did I say sup? I said soup. Did I say sup or soup? I calmly lifted the bowl to my lips, then drank the still-seeming hot broth in... When did I say sup? I did use contractions. I did. I did use contractions, Desk. I even went back and replayed me doing contractions. So that is a haha, I beat you. Could play that up as Idol trying to be personable and comforting to Luna. Hmm, interesting. Idol actually taught Luna how to speak old fashioned to boost her popularity as the new fresh princess in the castle. In West Equestria, born and raised. Don't take his side. You only enable more bad behavior. Thing is I did do the contraction. I don't know what you're getting at, Desk. I don't know. I read it as it was on the screen. He didn't teach her. He just told her to play it up. True. Very true. So like Old English, Middle English, and Modern English, Idol speaks Middle Equish. Idol speaks all those at the same time simultaneously. He just prefers Old English. he prefers Old Equish, but he knows that it would sound archaic to everyone except for Luna and possibly Celestia and lawyers in general. So he's making an attempt to speak modern Equish, but then falls somewhere into Middle Equish. But he's definitely more comfortable in Old Equish. Tore to shreds and ate the lot of them. And ate the lot. We'll take the lot. You are correct. That was indeed foul. I presume he did not intentionally mean the cotton napkin. You are correct. That was indeed foul. I presume he did not intentionally mean the cloth napkin. Shall I get you another tray, Your Highness? It's castle legend now. Idol is the center of all legends in the castle. He's saying Idol shouldn't use the contraction. Oh, that's right. Idol has been using contractions ever since the time skip. And I even said in the time skip chapter, I don't remember the exact chapter number, but it's a broken clock. In the broken clock, it's a 10-year time skip. Your language is going to change in 10 years if you've only been surrounded by people that speak. If you're surrounded by people speaking differently than you, it's like it would probably happen even a lot sooner. But from the first chapters, that's Idol's like first 6 months in Equestria, give or take. So it's not enough time for him to assimilate into the language yet. Idol on the Suicide Squad? I don't think Idol would ever qualify for the Suicide Squad. I agree, it would be funny, but I don't think he would ever qualify for the Suicide Squad, given that he's not really an anti-hero. Except maybe now? But he's too true. He's, what is it? Not neutral. Not neutral. What is it? He's too lawful good in order to be on the Suicide Squad. But yeah, I said in A Broken Clock that I even said before A Broken Clock that I even told V, because he kept on complaining about me dinging every time he used a contraction. I said that I'm only dinging this up until A Broken Clock because he would still sound archaic in speaking what he learned, and now he's officially simulated into the culture. He's going to simulate the language as well. It's like when people move to a different country and being with the locals for so long, you get their accent. I know this from I know this from like my brother specifically. He went out to live it while he was going to medical school. He went to live out east because that was the cheapest medical school he could go to. And While out east, he also had brought his three kids with it. Like his whole family went and moved out so he could study in Pennsylvania. All his kids, in like within a year of them living there, have a slight Eastern accent, and by the time he finished school, he had an Eastern accent, and uh, it lasted up until like 2 years ago. Like a couple of years after he moved back, his kids slowly started to lose those accents just because of where he lived. So I don't think Idol would volunteer something he would for something like that. Uh, he would pretty much only do if ordered to do so. I feel like also I haven't seen the new movie, so I don't know who Flag is. But or are you talking Flag from like the first movie? Wasn't it technically Flag was only on the team to control Enchantress because Dr. Moon was in love with him? I think that was the original story. So he technically volunteered, but he was really only there just so that they could put Enchantress on, to maybe try and put Enchantress on a leash, as far as I remember. Which Enchantress, that was just a bad idea all around. It's like you can't control the enchant. You have her heart, granted, but she can do a lot of damage. All of them could, but they're still mortal. Enchantress isn't, so you're screwed if she ever gets out of your control. Anyway, what was I talking about? I completely forgot what my point I was trying to make, so I'm going to go back and keep on reading. Also, this is the first time I've noticed that it's specifically a cloth napkin and not a regular napkin. Which, granted, they probably wouldn't even have regular napkins in Equestria. They probably go cloth all the time. Because I imagine, uh, since they're still using scrolls and whatnot, that's typically, as far as I remember, wasn't it typically animal hide that they used for letters like that for scrolls? I know they did eventually make some out of paper, but from what I remember, they that was originally started using animal hides, and then they went to and then they transitioned to uh, paper, and then we eventually get to modern paper. And granted, we've seen modern paper in Equestria, so it could still be paper that they use in scrolls. Also, why do they use scrolls? I guess it's hoof friendly. Uh, and I'm getting that from the second Percy Jackson series because they meet up with a bull. I think it's a bull, uh, and uh, books irritate him because they are not hoof friendly, and so he shows a scroll, and it's incredibly hoof friendly. As much as I want to stay, I'm joining Pain Thunder with a friend in a bit when he's done eating. That's fair. Stream's going to be ending fairly soon. How soon? I want to try and I want to get to this next. As soon as I get to this next break, I'm going to be ending stream because that's when my food's going to be ready. So, thanks for dropping by. If you don't get a chance to say it when you're heading out, but yeah, thanks for dropping by. See you in a couple of weeks when I'm doing this once more into the breach. Well, where was I? Because I'm almost done with this page. Yeah. The princess stared at me. The princess was staring at me, misery forgotten. A success, then. You may. I shall inform the cook that your napkin is to be properly seasoned in the future. I bowed and caught a twinkle of something in her eye. You may inform her that in the future we take our napkins with You may inform her that in the future we take our napkins with honey and lemon. Her Highness's wisdom and tastes are boundless. Unfortunately, there has recently been a run on lemons, and grapefruit is explicitly banned from your table for the immediate future. She bolted up in bed, outrage evident. I noted that she swayed slightly from the sudden effort, and So when are we doing that raffle you promised? We waited for a couple hours to hear the winners. In a raffle, no one's a winner. Except for V. He seems to always win. It does win, no matter what. Where was I? Oh, right. She bolted up in bed, outrage evident. I noted that she swayed slightly from the sudden effort and made ready to catch her if needed. She bolted up in her bed, outrage evident. I noted that she swayed slightly from the sudden effort and made ready to catch her if needed. Why do I suddenly have the hiccups? This is not good. Raffle is B3. B3. Anyone got B3? Nope. Claim your prize at the winner counter in a couple weeks. What? What madness bans the noble grapefruit? It interferes with medication. She settled, looking annoyed. We do not even exceptionally like grapefruit, and now we want some. That is unfortunate, Your Highness. If you would, is there anything else you would like with your meal? Something not tea, nor soup, nor other malodorous sludge. I don't even know what... Malodorous? Malodorous? I'm guessing it's malodorous. Malord. Let's see. Look up. There we go. Malodorous. Oh, it is malodorous. How do I pronounce this? Is it actually malodorous? Google, where are you? I know I should talk to you earlier, but please come back. Google, come back. Any kind of fool would see. Bueller. Bueller. Also, I haven't watched that show in ages, but how long does that teacher call for Bueller? Are like the kids, do the kids just also get a day out of class just because one kid is missing? Bueller. 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 Like how... Why doesn't he actually just stop?
Malodorous.
Malodorous. I did say it right. I did say it right. The second time, not the first time, but the second time I said it right. Something... That is the wrong voice. Something... Not tea, nor soup, no other malodorous thing. Something... Not tea, nor soup, nor other malodorous sludge. Everything is either minty, bitter, or bland. If we have one more bite of tapioca, we may scream. You want some errors to correct? You should read the first chapter of my spin-off and put that dictionary of yours to work. I read like the first half of that comma. I think, yeah. I did read the first part of your story. Everything is either minty, bitter, or bland. Another one of these? All right. I considered. I shall see to it, Your Highness. And that's all we're going to get through to tonight. Woo! Thanks for joining us. Also, I'm going to see to it about trying to get these bots out of here. Because I have no idea. I'll have to research how to do it because I know there's a way. I've seen people do it a way. I just don't know how to do it in that way. Would it be in settings? No. Hmm. I think that should work. Yeah, I think that should work. Yay! Okay, there we. Alright, there we go. I think that might have fixed it. No idea. But anyway, thanks. Thanks to all you who joined us tonight on stream. It was a great time having y'all. And uh, and I'm going to make I am going to put in every effort to make this once every 2 weeks, so that way we don't have that 6th, 7th month dry spell like we had last year. Holy crap, that was terrible. And I missed you guys. So I'm going to be back. Still a to be announced whether or not when the next chapter is actually going to come out. Who knows? Certainly not me, but I do have a couple I can do while I'm re-recording these. But yeah, thanks all for dropping by, and I'll see you next time. You have a good night. Bye for now.